In the quiet, unassuming town of West Memphis, Arkansas, a shadow fell on May 5, 1993, that would forever scar its landscape and its soul. 3 8-year-old boys, Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers, vanished into the twilight, their innocent play in the Robin Hood Hills woods, turning into a nightmare no parent could ever imagine. What began as a desperate search for missing children soon unearthed a scene of unspeakable horror, revealing a darkness that many believed could only be conjured by the devil himself. This is the story of the West Memphis Three, a case that exposed the raw nerves of a community, ignited a national debate on justice, and left an indelible mark on the annals of true crime. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. West Memphis, a town cradled by the Mississippi River, was a place where children still played freely until dusk. On that fateful Wednesday, Stevie, Michael, and Christopher, inseparable friends, were last seen together around 6:30 p.m., their laughter echoing through the dense woods of Robin Hood Hills. As evening deepened and the boys failed to return home, a growing unease settled over their families. John Mark Byers, Christopher's adoptive father, made the first frantic call to the police around 7 p.m., setting in motion a search that would soon plunge the community into a collective state of terror. Initial searches that night were limited, but friends and neighbors scoured the familiar paths of Robin Hood Hills. They even passed near the very spot where the boys would later be found, unknowingly walking within feet of the unfolding tragedy. The following morning, May 6th, a more organized search commenced, with Crittenden County search and rescue personnel meticulously combing every inch of the wooded area. The air was thick with a dreadful anticipation, a silent prayer that the boys would be found safe, shattered by the grim reality that awaited them. Around 1:45 p.m., a juvenile parole officer named Steve Jones made a horrifying discovery. A small black shoe, belonging to one of the missing boys, floated ominously in a muddy creek that snaked through Robin Hood Hills, leading into a larger drainage canal. This single chilling find led searchers to the most gruesome scene imaginable. Submerged in the murky water, stripped naked and brutally hogtied with their own shoelaces, were the bodies of Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers. Their right ankles were tied to their right wrists behind their backs, a mirror image on their left sides. The discovery sent shockwaves far beyond West Memphis. The boys' clothing was found scattered in the creek, some pieces twisted around sticks, as if deliberately placed. 2 pairs of underwear were never recovered. The autopsies revealed a horrific truth. Michael Moore and Stevie Branch had died from multiple injuries and drowning. Christopher Byers, however, bore the most disturbing wounds, suffering severe lacerations across his body, and a brutal mutilation of his scrotum and penis. The initial police theory suggested rape, though this would later be disputed by experts. The crime scene itself was perplexing. While police believed the boys were assaulted and killed at the drainage ditch, critics argued that such extensive injuries and the hogtying would have been difficult to inflict in that specific location. The brutality of the murders, coupled with the macabre presentation of the bodies, quickly fueled rumors of satanic rituals. In a town where heavy metal music and dark clothing were often misunderstood, suspicion soon fell upon 3 local teenagers, Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Misskelley Jr. They were outsiders, perceived as different, and their unconventional appearances made them easy targets for a community desperate for answers. The subsequent investigation and trials of the West Memphis Three would become a saga of legal battles, public outcry, and enduring questions. The prosecution painted a picture of satanic ritual abuse, largely based on a coerced confession from Jessie Misskelley Jr., who had a low IQ. Damien Echols, seen as the ringleader due to his interest in occult literature and heavy metal music, was sentenced to death. Jason Baldwin received a life sentence. The lack of physical evidence, directly linking the teenagers to the crime, coupled with the sensationalized narrative of devil worship, cast a long shadow over the convictions. Over the years, the case garnered national attention, fueled by documentaries and the tireless efforts of advocates who believed in the innocence of the West Memphis Three. New forensic evidence, particularly DNA testing, emerged, which excluded the 3 men from the crime scene and pointed to an unidentified male. This, combined with allegations of juror misconduct and a growing understanding of the flaws in the original investigation, led to a pivotal moment. In 2011, after 18 years in prison, Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Misskelley Jr. were released through an Alford plea. This legal maneuver allowed them to maintain their innocence, while acknowledging that the prosecution had enough evidence to convict them. It was a compromise, a bittersweet victory that brought them freedom, but not full exoneration. The true perpetrator of the Robin Hood Hills murders remains officially unknown, leaving a haunting question mark over the tragic deaths of Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.